Hello everyone, I'm getting over pneumonia here. Um, Sorry if I sound a bit sick through this, but I gotta get a video out. And, I haven't been doing that lately, so, I have not been feeling too good lately, and life's not going too good, and I thought, hey, why not listen to Radiohead? That seems like it fit pretty well. And, yeah, so we're gonna be doing an album reaction to Radiohead's Kid A. Now, it's um I'm not exactly new to Radiohead. I don't know a lot of their stuff, but I do know enough to know that I do like them. I do plan on diving into their stuff a lot over the next little while. It's more so that um, I know enough of the early stuff to know that I like them. Like, of course I know Creep. Of course I know Paranoid Android. I know a song or two off of here. Really the opening and how to disappear completely. Um, a lot of other stuff. I've just kind of like heard in passing, and or not even so. Um, there's a track or two off the Bends that I also really like fake plastic trees and things. And the thing that bothers me a little bit before we get into this, just for context, why I'm doing this in the first place, is because um, I listen to a lot of music. I really do, and I'll go from stuff like Maroon 5 and Katy Perry all the way to like Swan's territory and like Merzbow territory, Nurse with Wound territory, and then we're in the middle, from like jazz to metal, from things like Tool to everything, right? And when I see a band and people are saying, oh, they got this a masterpiece album and a masterpiece album, and a masterpiece album, they keep saying that for a good 3-4 times in a row, I tend to get a little skeptical. I tend to, because although the reputation of Radiohead definitely deserves that name, you would think that they do have a couple masterpieces in their belt. I am not sure of that myself. But although I have not listened to their projects like Kid A, like OK Computer in full, front to back, and paid attention clearly, but I am a little skeptical, a little bit, and for I have, in trying to listen to this album numerous times, I've either fallen asleep just from putting on at night or other reasons. So I already know the kind of general sound of the album, as well as the OK Computer and stuff. I've heard snippets of a lot of the songs, although I forget completely how they sound. I will say that just because a band does a genre and then another genre does not make that next album a masterpiece because it's a different sound. That's not exactly what. That doesn't really justify that claim. Because I can do, let's say, a metal album, then a hip hop album, and then a jazz album, and just because I swap styles does not mean those are all going to be amazing albums. They got to be done correctly, and within, let's say, the metal album, within the rules and within the bounds of metal is, have to make sense and be innovative and groundbreaking, all kind of stuff within that. I can't just make an album. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain. So with an album like the Bends, it have to be for a grunge-ish, hard rock-ish album, and have to be pretty good as a grunge album. And this would have to be pretty good as an electronic music album. And I feel like people just go, oh, well, they switched genres, so it's good. That's not exactly what that means. It just means they switched. That's not, in and of itself, good. So that's where I'm at. My expectations, I think, naturally are a bit high, but I'm trying to bring them down by force so I don't get too overwhelmed. And people are saying that this is a fantastic masterpiece, and they got like 5 others, and everything they do is flawless. And there has been a song or two that I have not liked in general. So we're gonna see how this goes. Because if this is a masterpiece, I'm expecting a 10. I'm not expecting like maybe a 9 out of 10, maybe, but I'm expecting the 10. So I'm gonna bring that down. I'm not gonna think about it. I'm just gonna let the music do its thing. We're gonna see what happens from here. Like I said, I've been sick recently with pneumonia kind of thing. So if I cough or so, I apologize. Editing's really real hard a lot of the times, and especially with the way I do things, and with these live reactions, where I want to be pretty uncut the whole way. It's really hard to start making cuts and things. That being said, because copyright and stuff, the music will be turned down a little bit in the mixing. You won't be in headphones. I will say you'll be able to hear it probably pretty clear. The balancing should be fine, but it is audible. I've done some tests. It should be fine. Just get some headphones would be good. And it's either that or copyright, which I don't want to deal with. So, I've talked enough. Let's start with the first track, which I have heard, which is a good song. Everything in its right place. I will say the vocal effects now that come in are pretty cool. They're pretty interesting. Chords are also interesting. The nice kind of electronic round kind of Rhodes piano-ish does kind of fit the kind of vibe they're going for. And a lot of their sounds with those chords wouldn't really fit the same. So in terms of like the sound palette, everything does kind of match. I will say, I think when his vocals are unaffected completely and they're just out there, I don't think they fit exactly. I feel like they, at least for this song, I feel like they could have some kind of effect on them, or at least if there already is, a little more so. Because the affected trippy vocals fit, and the vocals that are unaffected don't exactly fit. They fit the tone, but sonically they kind of seem a little detached, a little separated from the instrumental. I'll say the artwork does also represent the sonic palette really well as well. The synths rising, cutting out are nice. I like those trippy synths. Also, I should not have to say this, but I don't know this. Just doing this for YouTube. I don't know this. If you want to listen to it for yourself, go ahead. You know, if you like it enough to buy their stuff, go ahead and buy their stuff. Again, the nice chorus, nice melody. The sound that they're using for the keyboard fits with that melody and progression. Nice vocals in the back of the mix. Nice and echoey, nice and far away. Nice dissonance. Nice effects. This song does fade out, but and usually it does not work for songs. But I feel like because they also strip back the instrumentation very gradually, it kind of makes the fade out really fit. Next song, Kid A. Nice fade in, same thing what I said before, but reversed, where with the fade in, they are adding instrumentals over top of each other. It's not a full ensemble right away. Also, I apologize for the noise and the banging. They're fixing something in the apartment. One of the doors has fallen off or something. So I do like the bells in this song. The bells are nice. You get a nice tone. Like I already said before, with the progression they're doing, it really fits. I like the kind of popping, almost clipping beat almost. Vocals have a nice effect on them. Everything sonically fits very well. Nothing really seems out of place here. Nice effects, nice drums. This is definitely music you kind of let it play and you kind of sit in it. It's not something that's supposed to have like a catchy chorus and verse and all that kind of stuff. It's going on ambient rules more than rock rules in terms of how you listen to it. Because you need different hats, different genres. You know, you listen to rap music very differently than you would metal, than you would jazz, than you would ambient, than you would noise, than you would experimental stuff. And this is really going off of ambient rules, at least for me. Nice little changes in the sound for a second. Turn up a little tiny bit. I'm not sure about the middle part. There was an ominous, like, kind of switch for a second. And I have to hear it again. Like, it fits in the sonic palette. Even this part too. Like, it all fits in the same sonic palette. It doesn't nothing sounds out of place, but if they're gonna have a specific vibe and try to subvert it with either tension or unease or whatever they're doing, or they're trying to do in the middle with that odd like little like that echoey impact kind of sound. I don't know how to explain it. That thump. It didn't really come across that way. It just sounded compositionally a little weird. If you want to have I'm gonna stop for a quick second. If you want to have a little part in your music to go from one mood to another, have it go from like really calm to eerie, and then back, and even if you want to go back to calm, a split second is not really enough to have that be effective, where it's like a weird sound for a second, then we're back to calm. It's not exactly it's an effective way to do things. I will say like that. I hope one of the other songs do that. That'd be really cool, because like this is very calming and a tiny bit uneasy, a little bit. I do hope one of the songs later on kind of takes some time to go a little bit more the uneasy route. I hope. We're gonna go back for a second and we're gonna go to the end. So I want to see how it transitions. That's what I was talking about earlier. That weird, just, you know. Oh, it fades in. Yeah. More cool sounds. I want to check something for a second again. If you think this is a breakdown, in the context of a breakdown, I think that sound does fit a bit better. So, I'll take back my statements earlier. My points still stand, but if I think about it differently in the context of a breakdown, because I was talking during it the last time, it does fit for what it's doing. So I'll take that part back. It does fit. You get a nice sound play, or sound effects or so. Nice distortion or frequency or so. Next song, the National Anthem. Got some actual bass. More synths. Actual drums. More cool synths. Some nice engineering cuts there. The other two songs almost kind of, well, no. The song before this, Kid A, kind of serves almost as an extended intro to this song. Again, nice sonic stuff. I'm gonna turn up a little bit. I'm gonna keep it there. As we go along, I'm gonna add the songs that I do like to a playlist. Nice bass groove. Vocals fit a bit better this time. More of an effect on them. Nice dissonant stuff. The jazz sounds really fit here. I actually won't be surprised if certain experimental musicians were influenced by this. I won't be that surprised. This is something I'd hear on I want to say Nurse with Wound, one of his albums. I'm not too sure. I know I've heard this kind of stuff before. Again, nice dissonance. I feel like the bass groove being the exact same doesn't exactly fit. I feel like could have changed a little bit. Because even if the bass groove wasn't a minor key, or at least a bit more eerie than what it is now, which is pretty, major, the dissonance would still be in effect. And still some dissonant, but the bass kind of staying the same. It kind of doesn't exactly fit the greatest. And the dissonance is getting more chaotic. The jazz ensemble is getting more out there and chaotic, but I feel like the bass could have also progressed a little bit more, and now it's just not there. They kind of cut it out. Nice little soundscapes at the end. I disagree completely, which is a song I have heard, and I do think highly of. I do like this song. Really quickly, I do want to get the transition. I just want to see something really quickly. I feel like what they could have done a little better is well, in terms of an album experience, it would have been better if they would have had the dissonance from the other song not fade out and continue into this song. But if I remember correctly, this song, I guess pretty completely fades in and fades out, so you can kind of loop it, which is cool. But and it works better for that, because it is a fantastic song. But in terms of the album, would have fit a lot better if they would have had the distance from before kind of fade in, not fade in, just not fade out and lead into this song. The fade out, the dissonant fade out, then they had more distance fade in, just doesn't seem exactly necessary. They could have had it cross over, and it would have flowed a little better to me. Oh, so the vocals here do sound, even though they aren't affected, they fit the arrangement more. Because you have organic vocals and organic instruments. Before you had organic vocals and inorganic instrumentation, and that is very hard to pull off in a way, where it doesn't sound out of place, because naturally it sounds out of place. And because you have the organic vocals and instrumentation, they kind of fit in their own way, and all the sonic synthy sound play they do in the background accentuates the organic playing and the composition and stuff. It tends to work a lot better. Nice. I don't know if that's a key change, but nice little progression. Nice sound play, arpeggio, synths in the back. And that one sample they're using a lot. Well, not sample, but that one thing they're using. That. Here it is again. That really does add so much on its own to the whole piece. Nice strings as well. Strings and guitar, strings and acoustic guitar, if done right, really do make sad music all the more sad. The lyrics also fit well with what they're doing. Again, with composition, with just performance, all that kind of stuff. Nice fall into dissonance here. It's real nice. I want to catch something real quick. I feel like that was not a cut. Nice drums. Next on Treefingers. This one comes and doesn't fade in. Interesting. Yeah, I want to go back for a second. So it doesn't really fade out, the song just kind of ends, and then the next song just kind of comes in. And, hold on. It fits, it fits. Ow. From the sounds of it, this might be the part. Oh, this might be the part where I hope they get a bit more dark and experimental. Probably not. So I'm thinking in my head, there's first track, then there's the next two, which kind of are one. And I'm trying to think of the structure of the album at this point, and like that kind of sound, that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think of the structure of the album at this point, and I'm unsure if the song would fit at this point with the way it's been executed. I think would have fit much. I think it if they would have had this bit more eerie, it would have fit a bit better. Because when you have all the other songs, they're not really eerie. There's a tad of little things here and there that are a little off-putting, but it's mostly very calm and tranquil. The Hattersburg completely, the kind of eeriness kind of builds in a way, and especially at the end, and for them to kind of it feels like it wasn't fully not explored, like it kind of like a crescendo that didn't quite crescendo in a sense. Because this easily could have been like a very minimalist. It's already minimalist and calm, but the point is that if it was not calm, same kind of soundscape, but more eerie, unsettling, then I feel like it would have fit a lot better into the flow of the album. It's a nice song on its own, I'll give it that. The flow is a bit questionable though. Next on, Optimistic. Again, just comes in. Interesting. Then we got some more organic instrumentation. Guitar, drums, vocals. No bass, and not really much synth work, if not at all. It sounds a little bit like Tool, a tiny bit. If they take their sound on Undertow and kind of mash it with their stuff, the more tranquil stuff on tribal stuff. I mean, on 10,000 Days. The song really fits to out of place. The other songs, the organic instrumentation, fit a lot better, but this one kind of just seems kind of like could be on like a different album almost altogether. Even maybe at the end of the album, one of the last tracks, depending on how the whole middle is done, if it falls into this one well enough, but right now it's kind of the whole thing sonically, composition wise, feels kind of out of place from the rest of what I've heard so far. Nice, nice, pick up in the drums, for lack of better words. Optimistic, okay. Not really a fan of the song, gotta say. Even besides the flow and all that kind of stuff, just the song by itself, I'm not exactly a fan of. The other songs you can get away with playing them on their own, and then being good songs. I don't know so much about this one. Melody is subjective, so I can get how other people would like it, especially because the soundscape is pretty cool. Except that it's a little bit Tool-esque, a tiny bit. With the sounds is blending, but it's not a song that I would put on. It's not a song that grabs me very well. like, yeah, this very calm album, and this is a pretty sonically heavy song, especially the drums are very hard hitting, and it just doesn't fit with the album. It just doesn't. Now this fits a lot better. This is the end of the song, so well, oh, you know. Odd clipping, it's nice. I don't know, but that transition seems a little lazy. Just cut off the drums, just new song. They could just end the song like they did with How to Disappear, which kind of ends properly, and then start this one like Treefingers did. I think it was Treefingers. The song after How to Disappear, whatever it was. This is where I'm getting a little worried because now they've spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs setting up a very distinct sound palette, and now the last 2 tracks are very they don't fit that palette at all. And I am aware of the I think it's the Amnesia EP. I think the EP after this, where it's basically a bunch of outtakes from this album that wouldn't fit. And I feel like I've heard it's darker than this album is, and the Rhodes keyboard and whatever that is, and the bass work is nice combination there. The little keyboard, the accents. I feel like the last 2 songs, in Limbo and Optimistic, could have been on the other EP. And even if they didn't sound exactly sonically like the rest of on Amnesiac or whatever it is. Even if they don't sound good on that, they don't sound good on this either. So if they couldn't fit on there, then they could have probably made a different album or EP, or even just not, maybe bonus tracks, but they don't fit on this album. They don't sonically. And this one's a bit more intriguing than the last one, especially those vocals and stuff. There's more progression happening. I do like this. This is very cool stuff they're doing. I like how a track kind of runs out of steam at the end. The kind of bass work that the progression bass is doing, I've kind of heard in other stuff. That kind of stuff. Kind of bass. I've heard those kind of bass lines before. It's on Idiotech. I assume playing on Discotech, which if I'm remembering right, this beat is very prevalent of Discotech. And see, now we're back into the original sound palette that we're focusing on, which is very strange to me. They have these 2 songs in the middle, in the middle of the album that just didn't really fit sonically at all. Now we're back to the original sound palette they were doing. I will say, um, maybe not OK Computer, but those two songs, Optimistic and in Limbo, could definitely those sounds and those ideas could be expanded to at least an EP. And that's something I would like, especially if it's more like in Limbo than Optimistic. But they did not fit on this album. Although I do like them sonically. But neither of those songs stand by himself either, at least for me. Vocals are nice here. You feel what's going on. Not as much here. But before they fit a lot better. After that last part was a verse too long, they could have put that last part in half. And have this progression here. It seems the kind of verse or chorus that, or it seems the kind of like breakdown verse where it's very stripped back, and the second and then the second repetition they kind of add a little, they add one little thing to kind of build tension. Or it'd be like the vocals and the drums come in or so, and I feel like the first part was very plain, going too long. Not the best way I could have worded it, but I'm trying to also listen, not talk throughout the entire thing. It's kind of hard for me right now to judge this song based on flow of the whole album, because those other two songs really broke up the entire thing weirdly, and so I can't say if this song would fit better at the end or fit better a bit back, or but I don't know. Because the sound palette is similar but different enough than that they could have had the whole album for the first half kind of sound more like How to Disappear and Kid A and those songs, and have the more intense songs be more like this, where they're just a bit more heavier in terms of electronic music, not heavier in terms of rock music. Because this keeps the sound palette intact, because it's all electronic. But it also keeps the intensity and the heaviness, or like the progression. Like just this beat gives the same feel as the real drums doing their thing. But just because the sonic differences, this fits a lot better. I want to get that real quick. Pretty alright transition. I'll take it. It's pretty good. Get a nice sound play. Nice weird noise in the background. We're back to the organic drums. All right. Second to last track, Morning Bell. So I got it right. Hold on. This whole electronic, almost dance not dance, has a club vibe to it with the drums. The drums just cut out, and then it's the songs transition to each other. It's kind of like one song. They transition to each other, but the only difference is they have the soundscapes, and electronic drums, then just soundscapes, and real drums. And it's a bit jarring, a little bit. I mean, they could have taken they could have had like there's other ways they could have done that. Like, they could have had the electronic drums just not cut out, and have the real drums play the same thing the electronic drums were playing, and just kind of like fade swap them, kind of thing, and have the real drums fade in and the electronic ones fade out, to kind of replace each other. I don't know about the vocals here. I don't exactly sit right on the ear. This instrumentation here is nice, but the vocals can some out of place. Could have affected them a little bit or something. Now it's gone, so like, which would have held that for a little longer. It's really weird, but the drums weren't on time. Maybe we're time signature stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Let me go back on it again. Just want to see something. I mean, it kind of works. The music is a bit calmer, a bit more subdued, and without the pattern the drum is doing when they kind of take out those the triples and just leave the. It tends to, obviously, the arrangement is a lot simpler, and that works a lot better for that moment, which is cool. So we'll take it. Nice sound play. I assume the guitars, they could also be seagulls. Give that for a second. So that kind of actually works because it feels like a rising tension then a cut off. It's not a rising tension, a little bit of a decline then cut off like the other ones were. Like in How to Speak Completely, I feel like that's what it did work. Kind of the strings were, it was rising tension, kind of, I can't remember if it plateaued or it kind of descended, but it did that, then it cut off. And that kind of rose back up, and that kind of felt really weird. But again, in a song like that, you don't want to cut off suddenly. So they could have just simply did like a rising tension with those dissonant strings, then just do a key change and make it make sense musically as like a resolution, and not have it cut off things. But I'm not sure. Either way, this song ends nicely. Or just kind of, it just ends. Like How to Speak Completely did, and another song I forget did, where they just kind of just ended it properly. It ended normally. Standard earlier, so. Last track, motion picture soundtrack. I'm not really sure if I like how it comes in. I mean, it doesn't exactly fit. It's very hard to have an album like this where it's very tranquil and have moments where it's kind of come in. You have to do it at the right spot. But I don't think in between songs is the right spots. You want in the middle of a song and use it in some kind of compositional way. But just have your songs come in or cut out. Just don't really work. They haven't cut any songs out. They don't cut off. I'm pretty sure. But they had a couple that just cut in, and that kind of again it breaks up when you have a whole album that's very smooth and very calming. To have anything that cuts or jolts you out of that headspace is not usually ideal. The second half is a mess. The second half is just all over the place. The first half was great. The first half was actually really phenomenal. It's pretty cool. With the unique sound palette they had and stuff. This last half's a lot of random stuff. Some of it cool. Yeah, that was cool too. Like some cool moments for sure in a lot of the songs in the second half. But a lot of the songs by themselves don't really stand alone that well. Let alone in the whole album from front to back. Oh, there is some cool moments, but that doesn't really justify the songs as a whole. Just doing one cool thing near the end, or in the middle somewhere, doesn't justify the whole song. And yeah, I think those vocals aren't affected in the right way. They're just kind of organic, and they kind of sound out of place. But the instrumental is great. The instrumental here is really, really nice, especially for a closer. It's very like almost grand. Where like, you know, right before they draw the curtains kind of thing. I'm gonna sit through this. Oh, never mind. Some interesting key changes at the end. But yeah, and it ends pretty nice. Like I said, like the overall sound palette and composition of that last track is really nice for a closer. But again, the vocals, the bits that there are, don't sound. Excuse me, they don't sound like they fit the palette. Trying to think it over right now, because I'd say yeah, the first half is real nice. The first half has some really cool sonic ideas, and there's a lot of songs in that first half that on their own they're good. They stand alone on their own real good, and they bring some unique ideas. Like How to Disappear Completely is obviously amazing. Kid A is pretty cool. It's really good. Opening track, Everything's Right Place, pretty good as well. But once you get to the middle, you get the two tracks. It was Optimistic and in Limbo. I think that's what those two were. That just don't. They kind of almost separate. They kind of separate the entire album. They kind of almost disjoint it from the second half, and then the album ends nicely, to be honest, and fits the vibe of the first half. But the middle section could have been a lot more done, and I'm actually very curious right now. I'll do a little experiment. If I just go from, I think Treefingers was the last track on the first half that was very electronic based. Yes. And then Idiotech was the first real electronic one again. And more about the real drums, I think. Yeah, so I'm curious if I go to Treefingers and just kind of I'll start here about a minute before it ends, a little under. And instead of it going into Optimistic, if I go right into Idiotech, if it would fit a lot better. And if that would fix most of the issues of it not flowing well. Yeah, that works nicely a lot. It really does. I think what they could have definitely done is, after How to Disappear Completely, they could have had, because it ended, more on a, eerie note a little bit. And I thought they could have had a track like, Treefingers, but a lot more eerie and more unsettling. If they want to do like a journey thing and kind of take you on a roller coaster, they can. It depends on what they want to do. If they want to do the roller coaster route, they could have had a track where was a lot more eerie and such, like Treefingers, like all minimalist but more eerie and not as calm, and then go into Idiotech. Then maybe in another song that's a bit more harder in terms of electronic, maybe the beats a bit more driving or so, and then have Treefingers as a calm little break, and then the last track with the vocals was a little bit better, and then have that'd be great. Or they can do the route of not the roller coaster, just like kind of like the album as like as a one kind of song, one sonic sound, and they could have just had how does it completely go into completely skip optimistic and in limbo and go right to Treefingers, and then go into I feel like if Morning Bell did not have the real drums, it would also fit in here, and then just go from that into motion picture soundtrack at the end. Yeah, they could do that totally. That'd be good. But I don't know, like, 'cause that's the thing. Like this album presents some really cool ideas. It really does, especially in the first half. It's definitely some really cool stuff in that first half. But once it gets to the middle, all kind of falls apart. I'm kind of repeat myself here, so I'll try and cut it short. This is already over an hour long video, and the album's only about 41 minutes, I think, if I mathed it out correctly, so I've been talking for a lot longer than I need to be. But I'll probably have this video serve as a reaction and a review in one video. I'll probably do it that way, because it's a format that I think actually works for stuff like this. I had to give it a score. It's really hard because, like I said, like the first half has some really good things, and the last half just falls flat. But then it ends really nice. It's that middle section, man. I'd have to say probably a 6 or a 7. I'm not really sure. I'll probably go with 7 because the beginning stuff is really that good. But it's not a masterpiece. I gotta say, like, it's not. Like, it just isn't. It is pretty good, and honestly, if again, like I said before, if I had like a different version of the album, or they took the middle section out and ordered it a bit differently, like, it'd still be great. I actually still plan to buy this album, because that's the thing. I have a lot of albums over here. I only buy ones that I like, and I like a lot. I'm not gonna buy an album that just has one track I like it up 10. It has to be at least half or a little over. And the less songs there is I like, the more they have to be good on their own. And for like there's not overall, I don't like a majority of the songs on here, but the ones I do like, I really like. So I think it's just justifiable enough for me to pick this up myself. I'm going to try and buy it when I can. I am going to listen to I don't know if I do it on here or not, but I am going to listen to the EP after. I think it's Amnesiac, I'm pretty sure. Because I tend to like the more experimental, darker stuff. Yeah, it is Amnesiac. Yeah, it's the one. I'll probably listen to that at some point again, because I don't know if I'll do it on here or not. But I might like that one better. I've heard it's not as good, but we're gonna see. Honestly, that's all I got. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. I really wish that they could fix stuff in the middle. That being said, I'm not turned off Radiohead because one of the promises, so to speak, of a masterpiece album I hear so much about, even though it did not go through, I'm still going to listen to a lot of their other stuff. So I do like the general vibe they have. So any Radiohead fans, don't worry about that. I might do a video like this for OK Computer, a bit more of a reaction review at the same time kind of thing. That won't be for a while, because earlier King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard released 3 albums in October, and I reviewed one of them. I reviewed the first one right on time, the second one late, and I didn't even touch the third one. Just things get too complicated, and I don't want to do. I don't want to kind of review one band back to back to back to back to back too much. I want to be able to go between this band and this one and this one and this genre and this genre and this genre. I don't really want to do too many of one thing in a row. I've already been doing a lot of rock music, so I felt like this was a good kind of thing to put in the middle because it's more electronic. That's about it. So I'm gonna end it here, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace and stuff.